Gentlemen, time to spread the word. And the word is panic.
Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
Welcome to Chapter 11 of Batman Begins, chapter by chapter, a Batman on Film podcast celebrating the 20th anniversary of Christopher Nolan's game-changing film. I'm senior contributor Javi Trujillo, and rejoining me today is a fellow senior contributor to BOF, the frolicker of Fruity Pebbles, the master of Mountain Dew, Ryan Lauer, spelled like lower.
Thank you, Javi. I almost today Winifred Sanderson from Hocus Pocus for that marvelous introduction, which I don't think too many in this Batman circle will give a crap about, but I can't help it because I do. Now, you said game-changing, and I think that has multiple meanings because, yes, the movie Batman Begins was game-changing, but the video game that was based on this movie was game-changing. I've said it many times to Bill, I've said it to anybody that will listen, that the Batman Begins video game walked so that Arkham Asylum could run.
Could glide.
Just 4 years later. Yes, 3 years. Yeah, it could glide later. So, yeah, all that to say, good choice of words.
Yeah, Haas and I talked a little bit about the game last episode because it's Haas, so I have to talk the video game with him. But
what a nerd he is.
Have you ever played the game wearing the blue and gray suit?
I don't think so.
It's weird, man.
I just don't. I don't think I could. Like, that was one. I think when I got the Wii, I ended up getting rid of most of my GameCube games, and I'm really bummed about that, including Batman Begins. And then I immediately regretted it, and I haven't played that game in like since 2007 probably. So I need to play that one again.
My recollection is that you could unlock a black and gray version of the Begin suit and then a blue and gray. And I remember trying playing in the blue and gray.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, this does not work.
This isn't right.
This is not how this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I find a lot, even with Arkham Knight, how you could get different suits. I'm so boring, and I feel like I always just stick to the suit that's known for that story, whatever whatever it shall be. Like, I don't know that I bought the extra stuff, one, so I could play the Batmobile racing challenges, but also getting, you got all these different suits for it too on Night. And of course I would cycle through and I'd play just like a little portion, in the Dark Knight suit. And I don't know if Affleck's suit became an option. I feel like it probably did. The West suit. Yeah. So like I do little portions, but then if I go back and play the game itself, I'm like, just give me the Arkham Knight suit. Like, give me the suit that's with that game.
My current playthrough is in the Batman suit since that dropped, I don't know, a year or two ago. And I've never really played the whole game in the Batman suit. Which it defaulted back to the Arkham Knight suit when Lucius sends him that suit, so I had to like go back in and change it.
So it's trying to tell you of like stick to the basics.
Yeah, but be honest, you're on mic. You played the whole game in the Zur-En-Arrh suit. I know you did.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
Fruity Pebble Batman.
Kept punching myself in the gut while playing it, throwing up, and I was like, "Yeah, this is the way it should be." But you'll be happy to know also on the record here is that the Batman RIP Absolute Edition comes out next year. And I even told you, like, of course I will be getting that, adding it to my absolute shelf. So I am not a hater on that storyline. I'm a
No, I am.
frustrated man child
I'm so
with that
looking forward
story.
to buying that story for the third time, something like that.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
How was your Halloween?
My Halloween was good. Went to a neighborhood with family, and it was a great neighborhood that always every year enjoys celebrating Halloween, and it is some of the most giving people that I've come across because there were many adults that provided candies for the kids, but also were looking out for fellow adults and providing alcohol. Yes,
Nice.
shot glass, red Solo cups for the adults. They were full. Other ones had a pitcher of hot chocolate mixed with some adult beverage, and we're giving you cups with lids and not just like 4 ounces. We're talking like 20 ounce cups. And said, "Don't be stingy. We've got plenty. Fill it up." So we fill it up, and then some bourbon later on. Like this
Wow.
neighborhood took care of its people, okay?
Nice.
So it was a good Halloween. I wasn't schmammered or nothing, but it was just kind of nice, walking around. And it was, I mean, we were on the move for 2 hours, and we didn't hit up all the houses. Had to be back in time for supper that was being made at the house. Um, so yeah, overall it was a good Halloween. How's Halloween in Texas? And it was perfect
Um,
temp. Perfect temp. I
y
know this is a BOF show. Bill wants some weather talk.
that's right.
Halloween was a very clear night, perfectly like mid 50 uh fall crisp air, it was a very, very pleasant Halloween.
It had started to cool that week to, like, the highs in the 70s, so, I mean, I was out there in front of the garage wearing
Hmm.
shorts and a Batman t-shirt, handing out candy, and it
Nice.
was nice, man. Just chill watching the kids go by. Not a lot of superhero suits in our neighborhood this year. I think
Uh-oh. Superhero fatigue.
I saw a couple Spider-Mans, a lot of Shreks, a lot of adult
Really?
men dressed as Shrek this year, and,
Awesome.
your occasional K-pop demon hunter, but otherwise,
Yeah.
not really a lot of
Dude, yeah.
MCU or DCU love. I was a little
N
bummed.
Not a lot. I mean, I can't think of, like, a category where there was, overwhelming amounts. It was pretty scattered of variety. Not one Shrek did I see, though.
Hmm.
So Texas has the upper hand there. Um, yeah, that's interesting. Well, do you have a good turnout usually when you hand out candy?
Yeah, it's like we decorate a little bit outside, but not as much as some of our other neighbors, and last year we kinda got, like, because our door is off to the side of the house, like, we didn't
Uh-huh.
have a lot of people, so we got stuck with a ton of candy, which is a good or a bad thing, but,
Bummer.
so I was like, "This year I'm gonna sit in front of the garage
There you
so
go.
people don't have to walk as far and just kinda interact more," and usually by the
Yeah,
time things wind down, it's like, "All right, well, go inside, turn off the lights, and start our annual watch of Halloween." So,
there you go. I'm one who thinks I get annoyed by people who start to say, "Oh, it's just another day," and they're too cool to think or do anything of Halloween. So I fully embraced that Bill Jet Ramey,
oh, yeah.
really put some thought behind his costume this year and that he dressed up and announcer Rachel did as well. Like I in the neighborhood that I went to, it's like they majority were into it and not in some annoying fashion or anything like that. It was just like it's Halloween. Here's decorations. Some of us are putting on something fun to hand out candy, and people are taking their kids, so it's pretty busy as far as like a amount of kid traffic there too. And I'm just like, good. Like I feel like there was a rut there where I was visiting, um, maybe college, post college, immediately post college, of like it was starting to feel like, oh no, Halloween's starting to like die down. I don't like this. Come on, it's free candy, and it seems in my area, it seems like there's quite a resurgence, and I'm really happy about that.
It's a nice way to, like,
Just
actually
fun.
Yeah, connect with your neighbors and
Yes, absolutely, because everybody, of course, was in such good spirits too, in which we should be, because even if you don't want to hand out candy or anything, it's like just be a creep, sit in a fold-out chair in your yard, and just look at people walking by in costumes. Like
it's a free
that's
show
yeah, why not?
with no ad breaks.
No.
Well, for today's episode, we are looking at what we've designated as Chapter 11, and the word is panic,
Yes.
which starts at the 1 hour, 45-minute, 9-second mark and runs till 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 49 seconds.
Mhm,
Ryan Lauer, spelled like
mhm.
lower.
Yeah,
Are you ready to begin?
I'm ready to begin.
When last we left off, Bruce was acting a drunken fool to kick people out of his birthday party, and Raish finds his gambit amusing but pointless. With Batman's antics at the asylum forcing his hand, Roz tells Batman, tells Bruce that the people of Gotham don't have long to live, and his men release all the inmates of Arkham. So take me back to a young Ryan in 2005. What were you thinking when you saw Zaz and the rest released? Did you have flashes of Nightfall or that first Zaz story where he was escaping Arkham like every night?
Well, first, I want to correct you yet again because I do believe it's pronounced Raz Al Ghul. So Javi, please, I mean, you're in charge of this thing. Get it
That's
right
right.
here.
Got to get it
Uh,
right.
I remember um I remember that knowing that Zaz was going to be in this. And I was fortunate enough a couple years ago on my podcast, The Batman Book Club, to have Kelly Jones on and tell him, not face to face, but face to screen to face, that his cover of Batman number 493 scared the hell out of me as a kid. I thought it was
Yeah.
so freaking creepy and scary, and Zaz was scary, and that issue, because that was early on. I got a stack of comic books as like a 5 or 6 year old for my uncle. Then I got the greatest or A Lonely Place of Dying trade paperback, greatest Batman stories ever told, and then Nightfall. And it's like that was my Batman Bible for years because small town spinner rack that was never updated and then just they just got rid of. And that's all I had to keep going back to for a few years. And I read that issue of the Zaz issue over and over again because I think it is I'm a slasher fan for horror. It was a horror slasher comic book. Terrifying.
Yeah.
So knowing Zaz was gonna be in this, I was, nerdy boy in me was very excited for that. I mean, I wouldn't even say that he's a small character, he's a shrunken sized character in Batman Begins, but the visuals there, the nods there, there um, it's not overdone on his tally marks, but they're there, and
Yeah.
so we saw him once in the courtroom with Crane, and then seeing him released is like the second time, I think. And then we see him out when he's about to get Rachel and the young boy. But I remember in the theater because sadly also I could not contain spoilers. I knew that Ducard was Roz via leaks on the internet at the time. Wish I had not seen that, but I didn't know that this was something that was gonna happen, and I didn't know the the inmates were gonna be released out into the Narrows and all that, and all everything I know with that was, like, it was really ramping up, in a really cool and fun way because and I'm rambling, and I'll stop rambling, but I know watching those Burton Schumacher movies so much, growing up, you could start to see a little bit of, like, a pattern, um middle of
Yeah.
the movie, Batman and one of the villains or Batman and the villains, and then a gap, and then the final act. And this Begins was very exciting because it almost did seem origin story, and then it was just like back and forth Batman, a lot of Batman, the rest of that movie. And so we just seen him out of the suit, attending his birthday party, and then now it's like we didn't have that long of a break, and he's gonna be back in the suit. And it's like, of course we care about Bruce Wayne, but I paid my money to see Batman in a suit. So this was all ramping up again, in a cool way of like, I don't know what's gonna happen here. Obviously, not like I ever know what's gonna happen in a movie, but it was, yeah, overall just really cool. Like, I think that's the only, like, doofus word I can just keep saying is, like, "It was cool."
It
"Javi,
was
it was
cool
cool.
though.
I went and saw this with my friends, and we all thought it was cool because it was cool. It was pretty cool, Javi."
I mean, and thinking back to like 2005, like this is his first big screen appearance, one of
Mhm.
several. And what are we, 14 years removed from his creation? And he's not like, I would say outside of our circles at the time, a well-known Batman villain. But to
No.
me, he was huge because, I got Shadow of the Bat #1 off the bookshelf,
Yeah.
and like that cover, like you mentioned for Nightfall, like those are all iconic things to me. And so it was pretty awesome to see that brought to life for the first time, because then we've
Yeah.
since had that show which shall not be named, and
Mhm.
Birds of Prey, which was a very different take on Mr. Zaz.
I
So
did not watch Birds of Prey, so I don't even know how he looks, so I'm gonna Google that right now. Um, to and I didn't I wanna say I saw the aesthetic of him in the show that must not be named. But I
and it
can't
was just
remember
I
what he
don't
looked
I don't
like.
remember if he had the scars or not even. I just remember he was bald. And it's the same actor who plays Metamorpho in Superman. The
Oh,
James
yeah,
Gunn
yeah,
Superman.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is this Oh, man. I think in Birds of Prey, the guy okay,
He's like the
interesting.
more not hipster, but just mob enforcer, dresses cool
Oh, wait. For some reason,
guy.
I thought you were talking about the Birds of Prey TV show.
Oh, no, no, no. With
Okay.
the movie
Eh,
with Black Mask and Harley Quinn.
gotcha. Harley Quinn and the Fantabulous Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say, I'm like, this picture looks like this looks like, yeah, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, 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 that one. And yeah, I didn't care for that version. It just felt very different and like, and not necessarily in a good way. It just kind of felt, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of that movie, actually. But anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
There's room to bring Zaz. He'd be terrifying, I think, in Reeves's world.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
terrifying.
I mean, just based on what he did with the Riddler,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
I don't know if we're ready to see him take on Zaz.
yeah.
So,
The dude slicing his, tally marking his skin for every person he kills. Oh, oh my gosh.
yeah.
Ugh.
I don't know if Little Caesars wants a piece of that action.
Oh man, a
Like,
tally marked pizza,
oh,
a tally marked calzone, and Pete would have to do a video review again.
yes. That we could use more of.
Yeah.
So as Bruce and Roz walk and talk, Roz recounts all the times throughout history that the League has struck, including how they have infiltrated every level of Gotham's infrastructure. Do you think Roz feels more slighted by his house being burned down previously, or that his greatest student refuses to stand by his side? Like, what gets under his skin more, you think, in this scene?
I want to believe, and I think somebody could have a completely opposing view, and think they would be no more wrong than I am. And I think that credits the writing, that credits the performance, that credits the direction. But I feel like he's more burned, no pun intended, by Bruce not standing by his side. Because I feel like I don't feel like there's a, tryout for his successor or his apprentice every single week in the League of Shadows, And that the
Yeah.
fact that he found one, and it's almost like there's an amount of pride there for, I got Bruce Wayne which he says at the beginning of the movie even, the world's too small a place for someone like Bruce Wayne to disappear. The fact that he got Bruce Wayne, who lived up, maybe even exceeded expectations, and his rightful place is by his side, and then Bruce refuses. I think that's a total like I feel like that's a total sting because Roz is probably dealing with anybody who is joining the League of Shadows is totally of like basically my life, my body, my soul is yours. Like, what do you want me to do? And I'll do it. And to have somebody go so far, he's at like 99% of the way there, and then at the last second be like, no.
Swerves. Yeah.
I feel like that probably burns him. So I don't know, and maybe credit it to, Neeson's performance too. I feel like there's a sense of betrayal there on his part, and so I think that burns more than like, that burns him more than the fact of, like, you know, "Burnt my house to the ground," as he says, and he says, "It should be you standing by my side." Um Yeah. That's just kind of where I think I've always stood on it. And somebody could come back and be like, "No, he doesn't care about, like, emotion in that regard. He's looking for a successor that can live on the message," and I would be like, "I can't argue with you there."
It's a funny performance because you get that first half of the movie with him, in that Jedi mentor
Yeah.
role, and so he's
Mhm.
very much Ducard when you see him that way. Like he's
Yeah.
training young Bruce the ropes before he becomes Batman. Then the dynamic shifts completely here, and we get a whole nother aspect of the Batman lore brought to life, but in like with the same people. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I don't remember if there was a lot of outrage because the internet was not what the internet was back then.
Yeah, exactly.
And but I mean, to me, like I always just thought it was really clever and innovative to have that twist because I don't feel it dishonors
No.
either character really. Because not only that, then it adds to the fact that you have, granted, it's in the ice and not the desert, but you have like Bruce and Roz like sword fighting, which is like an
Mhm.
iconic Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams sequence that gets brought up every now and then. So
Yeah. That's a good point. Like, they're yeah, it's such a nod to us comic fans. We when we think of Roz, we like how does that Neil Adams image not pop up in your head of them, dueling and sword fighting and stuff? And so to have that included in this movie is cool. I should have rewound and asked you, like, what do you think? Like, where does Roz stand on that? Is he more burned by Bruce burn his house, or that Bruce won't join him?
I think he's using the house as like a cover
Hmm.
for what he's really ticked off about. Because, like you
Yeah.
said, he's been orchestrating this, and as he goes on to say, that they've tried different means of bringing societies down, and to have one of their plans, like it didn't quite work out, but it brought this result of Bruce Wayne on this quest. Like, I think that would have been a greater achievement for him.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah, and
like
I did.
side note, oh, go ahead.
No, no, no. I was just gonna say and I think he comes from that. What do you want to say? Generation where he's not gonna be upfront. Bruce, you really hurt me because you did not
Yeah,
stand by my side. You know what? I cried when I woke up. I cried, but then eventually I got over it. But seeing you now, my feelings are hurt. Like he's not gonna be that way. So it totally makes sense that he would. As close as he gets to it is like there's like a small beat, and he's just looking at him when he says, "You were my greatest student." Like, I
yeah,
feel like that's as emotional as he's gonna get, but because we've seen like, I don't know, some of us can understand, we can look at older generations, and, tough love, male or female, relative, and you get it of like, I don't need to sit here and tell you I love you, you know it, and it's by a word of like, "You didn't do too bad out there." You know what like,
yeah.
that has underlying meaning. but we're not going to get
Yeah.
mushy. We're not going to get all huggy and or anything either. But it's like, I know what you mean by that. And I feel like that's Roz's delivery, just one line. And because we're nerds, we've watched this movie 116 times, we can start to put more meaning into some things than I'm sure. But I think that's as close as you get to it of like when you're my greatest student. That says more than just the words that he says.
Yeah. And I mean, who knows what generation he really grew up in.
Oh
I
man.
mean,
We
it's
thought we had tough love. I'm sure he had some
yeah,
tough love.
yeah. And it just as late in the side, I like how everyone is gone by this point,
Yeah.
and this Bruce and Roz are walking around. Bruce is still holding like that champagne glass. Like,
Hey, I might need this. You never know.
yeah,
I might need this. But I love that too of like just two guys strolling around my mansion,
yeah.
just having
As
having a chat. And I
as they
know I'm waiting for you
start
to
to run
turn
it
on me.
down. Yeah,
I'm heavily outnumbered here. All of your cronies are in my house, and you guys are gonna mess some shit up. But hey, I've got my champagne.
and we just kind of brought it up. It's during this scene where Roz reveals that the League tried to bring Gotham down before, but by using economics, creating the
Yeah.
desperation that led Joe Chill to murder the Waynes. So I wanted to ask what you thought of this wrinkle to the legend. And, this is the second start of a Batman franchise on film where he's facing off against a villain who played a part in the death of his parents.
Mm. This one, I think it's indirect to me. Whereas obviously in Batman,
Right.
uh, yeah, that's I mean, is right
Jack
there.
Napier was
He's
there
right there with
present.
the gun and shoots and kills both of his parents. Whereas here is like by my group's actions, it led to, it's a domino effect sort of deal. Um and so that didn't bother me at all. I think that connected to have a better reaction on my part.
Mhm.
And I think that I fully applaud their use and their what do you want to say, molding of Raz in this story to fit Nolan's overall realistic approach. Ditched some of the what do you want to say, the comic booky elements, the Lazarus Pit. That can come up later in Dark Knight Rises, where you can talk the metaphor of that. But here, and it's like there's some lines, there's some words that he uses. Are his methods supernatural? Stuff
Yeah.
like that. And it's
It's a little wink to what we know.
exactly, and it totally works. And there might be some total purists that really doesn't work for them. But for me, it totally works, and it fits this whole idea of Raz that I've had, because sometimes with those supernaturally elements in his stories, I get a little eye rolly, like, I'm not huge on this. But the fact that what he preaches and what he stands for isn't like entirely bad.
Yeah.
His idea and goals aren't necessarily like, that's not bad. It's his methods that are like, that's bad. So to set like basically to burn
Yeah.
London to the ground for a reset, it's like I know what you want to accomplish and I'm with you, but I don't think you should burn a whole city to the ground.
Yeah.
And here as well, and he said before we tried with economics, and but then Bruce's parents got in the way of that, and then here using the gas, I don't know, I'm like, I think that's what makes you. And then we can just keep saying with Liam Neeson, I mean, what the perfect guy I think for this role and how he delivers everything. um but like it works so well of like we're with you like Bruce was too. And then it got to this last step where it's like I can't jump on board with that. No, 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 that's insane. You can't do that. That's bad. And Bruce pleading with him too of like, give me more time. There are good people here. Like I always loved that as well, because in the end, that's totally Bruce Wayne of of being a hero and believing in people.
Yeah.
There's good people here. They think I'm a drunk fool, but there's good people here.
And as it goes on, we see, they start to fight, and we see more of the KC fighting method as the League sets fire to the manor, and the return of the, always mind your surroundings line
Yeah.
before a falling beam takes out Bruce. And Roz considers this to be true justice and making them even and leaving Bruce to die. And, I think, pulling Bruce out of the fire would make him even, but, bad guys are going to bad guy.
Yeah.
So.
Kind of a dick move on Roz's part. I'm just saying. I mean,
Yeah.
it already hurts me to watch Wayne Manor burning. Because, I mean, it's Wayne Manor, like, we don't have as many classic buildings, centuries old, like, they're destroying history, Roz. Like, go start a brush fire outside and throw Bruce in it. Okay, that's different. Okay, but man, this manor didn't do anything to you. I put feelings into buildings.
I mean,
This building has
it
feelings.
sheltered how many generations of Waynes?
Yeah.
It's a historic building.
I'm sure that's a Pixar movie one of these days. Buildings that talk. Ooh. Copyright, Ryan Lauer,
They're like,
2025, Batman on film.
We've done toys, we've done cars. What's bigger than a car? I know, a building.
Buildings.
Get Ryan Lauer on the phone.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the GCPD is doing all they can to contain the chaos in the Narrows, and Gordon wants the bridges raised, but Flass disagrees. And Rachel finally comes back in her apartment and sees the 2 vials of the cure. And I wanted to ask you, like, how do you like Flass in this? Like, he's got a little more of like an unmade bed Bullock vibe to me, but I like Mark Boone Jr.'s portrayal. Where do you fall on this
Police
adaptation?
Overseer catch the homicidal maniacs. Not what I expected for Flass.
Yeah,
I expected big dumb jock from year one. And we didn't get that. And we see this is yet another case of where the actor is someone that Nolan's worked with in a previous movie. He was in Memento. And but I really dug it. Just because it's not what I was expecting doesn't mean, that I don't like it. I thought it was good. I mean, you as sloppy as Bullet can be at times, it's like you still see the good, and you don't see good here with Flass,
Yeah.
like throughout. He's not as bluntly like you catch him as terrible as you catch him is with the falafel. And it's like, oh, he's scuzzy. But you don't see it, and then he gets close, bringing the gun to the one guy's face here and said, "So how would you like to see some excessive force?" But it's like we don't witness where he like from year one where he's going and he beats the crap out of some, innocent civilian, and we
Because he's
don't
got a
see
comb.
that.
Yeah.
But I totally dig, and I'm surprised, but then I don't know what they would have done that we don't get any kind of follow up, with Flash in the next movie or anything either. Um, I don't know. I bet you're back to your original question. I dug it for what he was supposed to accomplish. I think he accomplished it.
I mean, he's like you said, he's not visually the Flass from The Long Halloween or Year One.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dark Victory or Year One. But like the character feels right.
Yeah.
And I think I've always just been so chuffed that it's like we get comic book accurate Gordon that
Mhm.
it doesn't really matter. It's like
Yeah.
we finally got a Gordon that's like intelligent
As
and isn't.
perfect as he was, we can do a doesn't look anything like Flash from the
Yeah.
comics version because
Yeah.
Gordon, look at Gordon. Okay, we're good. We're fine.
He's ripped from a Tim Sale page.
I can't imagine
You
this
know?
actor in a blonde flat top. Like I
Yeah.
can't picture that on this actor at all.
Well, we're going to put a quick pause in this conversation for these words from our sponsors. So back at stately, now burning Wayne Manor, it's Alfred to the rescue, taking down a leaguer and waking Bruce up, chiding him with, what is the point of all those push-ups if you can't even lift a bloody log? I'm sorry, I just woke up. I can't do an Alfred
Michael
impression today.
Caine, are you here?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Javi.
So he helps Bruce get to the safety of the elevator that takes him to the cave, and then as Bruce has his pity party, Alfred comes to the rescue again, reciting the whole, why do we fall bit. So what do you
Love it.
think? What do you think is like the bigger theme Nolan's trying to get across in the film? Like overcoming fear or like getting back up once you fall? Like, what do you think?
Man, that's a good question because I think they're split because he falls and then gets terrified by the bats. That's way back beginning of the movie. Um, hmm. And then he lives like maybe, and it's not just because fear is a drinking game in this movie. In which to anyone who doesn't know, every time that they mention the word fear, you take a shot, everybody would almost die of alcohol
Would be
poisoning.
plastered already by now.
So I suggest you put a shot of dew in front of you, and then worst case scenario, you get really hyper by the end of the movie. Um, Fear probably pops up more than why do we fall, to pick ourselves back up. I, but man, I don't know. I attribute both. Like I probably quote the why do we fall more than I do you always fear what you don't understand.
That's exactly, yeah, what I was gonna go for.
But man, that's just, I don't know. It's split, but I'd probably go with fear because by the end he uses it. He was afraid and he feels guilty because he was afraid and he feels that led to his parents getting shot. And then by the end he uses that as a weapon himself and preys on fear. Um yeah, what about you? That's a tough one.
Like, I totally see where you're coming from, and I think you can answer this and not be wrong.
Mhm.
But, like,
I
in
like your
either
tests, Javi. You ask questions where there's no wrong answer.
yeah, there you go. Everyone passed.
Everybody passes Javi's class.
Yeah. Like, either whatever, theme you feel is, like, the central message, like, it speaks to, like, the resilience, of the
Yeah.
human soul and Batman's heroism. Um, I feel like fear is definitely an overarching theme for this movie. But if you look at the trilogy as a whole,
Mhm.
it's about Bruce falling and getting back up.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Like literally.
taking the fall,
Yeah.
for what the Joker did, and then getting back up as the Dark Knight, or Bane breaking his back and then getting back up to stand once again, to
Yep.
defend the people of Gotham. Like, I feel for the trilogy that, why do we fall bit gets repeated over and over and over. And I mean, that's kind of like the hero's journey.
I'm
But
I'm with you. I'm
the
with you.
overcoming fear thing is also,
Yeah.
it's so prevalent, and
Yep.
one of the
There you
things I
go.
really like about the film. So
Yep. I think I 100% agree with that. The trilogy as a whole, why do we fall so we can pick ourselves back up? This portion, fear. We did it.
and
We did it. We
there
finally
we go.
got it, Christopher Nolan. We understand. And you always fear what you don't understand.
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Always. Ugh.
So as the police continue to try and evacuate the Narrows, Rachel delivers the antidote to Gordon, and Flash demonstrates some excessive force, like you mentioned earlier. And when a kid who can't find his mom gets pushed, Rachel sees this and gets closer to see what's going on instead of evacuating. And what is going on is Roz is activating the stolen tech so they can release the fear gas with his immortal dialogue. Gentlemen, time to spread the word. And the word is...
Panic.
So, Ryan,
Yeah.
why did this become your catchphrase at the end of every Batman book club?
Oh my gosh, I think everybody's been waiting for that question to be answered, Javi. And I'm going to deliver the most boring story behind it. And I think it was way back in episode 12 of the Batman Book Club. Why do I remember that it's episode 12? I don't know. Probably because I looked it up. And I'm going to do that right now, which is why I'm stalling with words. J. Yaws, not 12, 13. Lucky number 13. The Mud Pack. J. Yaws is on my show. Norm Brayfogle illustrated story, The Mud Pack. And I believe at the very end of it, I was talking about if you can rate and review the show and help spread the word. And then I just rolled with it. And the word, help spread the word. And as we all know, the word is, and that's just what popped in my head because I've watched Batman Begins 116 times. And then I laughed to myself because I thought, like, I talk a
Clever
lot. I
tie-in.
say
Yeah.
crazy. And then I was like, hey, it's related to Batman. And then I think Jay laughed, and I think he was on the same boat. And a lot of us, us dorks, it's what we do. It's almost like with other Bat Boys, whatever situation you are in life, there is a quote to pull from '89. Like it's been proven scientifically.
Yeah.
It's been in labs, government funding to help, come to this conclusion. Yes, there's a quote in '89 that fits every situation you're in life. But this is one
6 is
too of
good.
like, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That was spread the word, and the word is panic. And it just stuck. And so now 243, no, 242 episodes later, still says it. Still say it. I can't, maybe people don't like it. I don't know. But Javi likes it because he brought
That's
it
right.
up. And he
It's
said,
like,
hey, do this chapter by chapter because the word is panic as part of this chapter. And I said, I will cancel every surgery I have for that day and we will make it happen. So I have
I
no
mean,
surgeries planned.
you were the only one that could have done it,
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm the chosen one. Javi was like, it should be you standing by my side as we talk about this chapter. So, and I said, I'll be standing in Gotham. I don't know, whatever. Anyways.
I mean,
Yeah, so there you go.
episode 13 was the Mud Pack.
Yeah.
I have to go and re-listen to that again because that was like what,
I'm
5 years ago
probably
now?
not good. I think Jay is Jay. So he sounds completely, normal and good and everything. I was still trying to find my footing, and maybe I'm still looking for my footing. I think I probably sound um very amateur. I'd probably cringe if I listened to myself. Like it's really funny, then we'll get back on course. Is every single month, episode one of that show, which posted March 4th of 2020, was year one with me and Pete. Every month I always see that is one of the most downloaded episodes of the show. And I think as is, a lot of people, if they just stumble across a new podcast or something and they're like, well, let's go all the way back. Let's listen to the first
To the
episode, see if
beginning.
I like
Yeah.
it. And I'm always horrified because I'm like, that one, I think the audio is even off. So sometimes I'm answering Pete's question before Pete even asks it. Like it's just the recording, something happened in the recording that's off, and it just sounds, it doesn't sound great. I don't sound great, I think, and I'm like, and that's the one that is getting listened to
Everyone
every
listens
month.
to.
Blah. Blah. So I'm sure Mudpack was fine. Also, I've learned a lot, so I'd be terrified of like how stupid I sound because I've read a lot of Batman comics and done a lot more reading and research since March 4th of 2020. So I don't know. I don't know. It's probably terrifying. But there's the biography, the origin story of Panic. It's all I got it tattooed on my lower back too. So
The the
time to
Batman
spread the
book
word,
club
and the word is
begins.
panic. Or maybe it's just above it. It just says panic.
But the cool thing is there's like a little tattoo of Fred Flintstone to the side
Oh yeah,
with the
yeah.
word balloon saying that line. So it ties in the Fruity Pebbles
I
and
mean,
Batman.
yeah. And he's wearing, his long shirt, but it's Mountain Dew. So I cover all my bases right there. I'm like, I've only got one lower back. Let's utilize the space.
You got to make it count, man.
Yep.
And like Batman, that tattoo is forever. So
Hey, hey, there he is. It's all connected.
it's all connected. Uh, and during the scene, that the gas is coming, and Roz puts on this gas mask to,
Mhm.
you know, move about. What do you think of it?
I think it's cool. It's smaller, smaller, subtle-ish, sort of deal. I think it's cool, but my mind has always wondered, like, how the hell does that work? That he's not inhaling the gas, but he can still breathe. And also, you'd think he'd have an antidote because he's Ross. He'd have an
Yeah.
antidote to the gas. But I mean, like, apparently none of them do because they're all wearing masks. And then I also see the basis of Bane's mask from
Yes, that's
Rises
what
in
I
that.
was getting at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Via, I don't know, there's something with of like how it started, how it's going. You could do those two pictures of like that mask on Roz and then Bane's mask in Rises. Um, but I mean, I think it's cool. It's there's no reason I would ever need one, but I'd almost feel like kind of cool if I put one on for some reason. And I'm advising everybody, don't just do that and go walking around like you think you're cool because it's not
Yeah. In
visually
this day and
comforting.
age, it
It's-
would make a lot of people upset.
yeah, but I mean, it's cool.
There's definitely like shades of Bane
Yeah,
just in general. And then you get to the end of the story, and Bane was a member of the League of Shadows who was
it's all connected,
excommunicated.
Javi.
So it's yeah. Did you see, maybe it was even old, but it's been popping up on my social media feeds, Tom Hardy with the jockstrap on his face
Yes,
doing
talking to his
Bane
dog.
talking to his dog.
We've all been there,
Uh,
right?
yeah.
We've all
Yeah.
been there. We just wash it and then we're like, "Hey, out there."
And the fact that he like still knows his dialogue, that's awesome.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And I want to give a shout out to character actor Shane Rimmer here. He plays older Gotham water board technician, the pivotal role,
Mhm.
and fills the audience in on how Roz's plan is destroying the city. And we're going to cut back to him a lot
Yeah.
in the final chapters of the movie. But he passed in 2019, but he just had like this prolific career, including appearances, a lot of them uncredited, in Superman's 1 through 3, Star Wars, Doctor Strangelove, and 4 James Bond movies.
Wow.
So, like, this guy has done it all except for apparently Marvel. But, you know,
Yeah.
he's something. It was cool to see him get, a spotlight, because obviously I'm big into James Bond, and
Yeah.
I like the Superman movies. So it's like, oh, I
Um,
know that he's one of those guys that pops up. I'm like, I know that guy. Like, wow, I
yeah.
haven't seen him in a while.
And I love that he's definitely the one telling audience, are you listening? Are you listening why this is really important?
Why
This
this
could
is bad.
disrupt all of Gotham City, okay? This is bad. Okay, got your attention. And then he can, that's fun. It's never bothered me. Even all
Yeah.
these viewings later, I laugh because it's, more comments are made by, us in the nerd circles about it, just like laughing in jest, but it's not like, you know what? I take this movie down a whole letter grade because of that guy is explaining everything. No, not at all. It doesn't bug me. But I'm glad you brought him up because it reminds me to bring up the guy he's talking to in that scene, Jeremy. I don't know if it's Theobald. Another case of somebody that Nolan has worked with in the past. He was the lead in Following, which I don't know if
Yes.
anybody's ever
Yeah.
watched Following. It's one that people late to the game started to notice that there is a piece of Batman, a bat symbol that shows up in Following, and everybody's like, "You knew he was going to do Batman all along." He didn't. But, yeah, Following's a good movie, and then he also, was in Tenet, It just says steward. I've only seen Tenet once,
Same.
um, and so it's due for rewatch. But I know that I have to know, like, I feel really smart today, and nothing
You
is going to
need to,
break my concentration, and that's when I'll watch it again.
yeah, you need to carve out that time, that 3-hour block, and just give it your undivided attention.
Yeah, yeah, which is what I did the first time, and I got a lot of it, but I did have like a little bit of a headache trying to make sure that everything made sense. But anyways, it's just one that I'm not telling anybody they don't know already. A lot of us listen to this know that Nolan he does pull people he's worked with before. He's consistent in that. As in addition to people he hasn't worked with before. So that was, where we always get a little mushy and stuff like, oh, look at the connections because it's all connected. And this was one where I missed it. I hadn't seen Following yet when I saw it begin, so I had nothing on
Yeah.
it. And then when I watched Following, I wasn't like, that's the guy in the tower. No, it wasn't that either. It was definitely, like, many viewings of both, and then going to IMDb and looking at stuff, and then it was, that's when it all connected.
I mean, and as far as I know, there are 3 people from Following that are in Begins. Jeremy Theobald that you mentioned, and then, Lucy Russell, who's the blonde in Following. She is the socialite at the hotel dinner table,
Oh,
is, like,
yeah.
dressed like a bat, clearly he has
Yeah.
issues. Like, she's the lady in that scene. And then, of course, John Nolan, the apple's fallen very far from the tree, Mr. Wayne. Obviously
Good call.
related to Chris Nolan, he's the policeman at the end of Following. So I always appreciate when, directors
Yeah.
carry on people from their other work, especially when it's like his first film, which hardly anybody saw, and then to, give them their props, their flowers, and put them in a big blockbuster Batman movie. Like that's cool.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I hadn't even I'm not gonna sit here and act as if like, "Oh, I forgot that I knew that." I'm just gonna say that I didn't know it. So thank you,
Yeah.
Javi. I've learned today. My
There you
brain got
go.
bigger.
Entertaining and educational.
Yes.
Batman Begins chapter by chapter.
Entertaining, informative, definitive. Batman on film. Chapter by chapter. Add that at the end. That
There
voice too.
we
Is it Ralphie from Simpsons? Ah,
go.
chapter by
Yeah.
chapter.
That's gonna be the new one going forward. Whoever
Yeah.
takes the baton next for whichever movie we do, which I don't know, 2026, there could be an anniversary movie that we're not thinking of that
Batman versus Superman, obviously.
that may
Bill's
be
doing that's the
coming.
next chapter by chapter. Bill's doing it.
Oh my god. It's like it's
He
all one
doesn't
chapter. We're just
Yeah,
doing it.
somewhere right now, his blood pressure just spiked and he started breaking sweats and he's like, I don't know, somebody mentioned
No.
Batman versus Superman.
It's like Pete can do that one, not
Nah,
me.
nah.
Well, as we close out here, the fear gas sequence begins with Gordon taking the inoculation and knocking out Flash before he shoots 2 innocent kids who he thinks are demons. So, as we finish up here, how do you like how Nolan weaves in the fantastical with his more grounded approach?
Great. I'm not as I've gotten older, I've definitely gravitated even more towards grounded in a lot of
Mhm.
things, in a lot of entertainment. Right now, a lot of comics that I'm reading, I'm doing a lot of Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips
Oh, wow.
uh, readings, as well as like stuff that you can feel like, oh, this, Brubaker Phillips adjacent kind of stuff. I'm just really enjoying grounded level stuff. And and that doesn't mean I don't enjoy non-grounded. Um I think Nolan he did such a great template of that here. Like, I know we've heard stories where he was even thinking of Scarecrow not even wearing a mask in this movie, and Goyer's like, he's got to wear a mask. Uh, I'm very appreciative that David Goyer, won him over
Yeah.
and won that argument because I love the aesthetic of Scarecrow. Would it have made sense that he gets dressed up in the full gown and everything of Scarecrow throughout? Not for the story Nolan's telling, but we still
Yeah.
get it. A really close look of that coming up in your next chapter or two.
Yeah.
Uh, we get it. It's very brief, but it's like, at least I got it. That looks awesome. That looks great. And it totally makes sense why he looks that way. Which to Nolan, like to his credit, that's what his position is. Like it has to all make sense. And so we already mentioned with the Raws and the mentioning of the perhaps are they supernatural? Wink, stuff like that. The when Rise is talking the metaphor of the pit and what it is, and when Bruce sees Roz again there, all of it is dealt with in such a way that's like if you want it to be, it could be, but on the surface level, it's grounded in reality, and I totally that's my preference, and that's what I like. So I think the fear gas they've laid the groundwork for it, and how the um, microwave emitter. I'm not I'm a dummy with science, and I think that that's what he said, right? Um, that it makes sense for the movie on what happened. The it makes sense how it's working in the fallout for this last act. I'm not taking like they skipped a few steps. It's like no, the groundwork that they presented to me makes this flow, it makes it work. Okay, cool. Let's ride.
Yeah, looking in like the context of the time, like in Batman movies and the shift that happened after Batman and Robin with superhero movies starting with Blade in what was it 98, so even like a year later, but no one went and really saw Blade initially. So everyone always goes for like X-Men, but like you go from this Dutch angle, bright colors, very outlandish acting to this more down to earth taste that you saw with Singer's X-Men, and to a degree Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have the pop colors that Schumacher has, but like there's a lot of Raimi in those movies where it's like part throwback to like a different era of filmmaking, like with the Three Stooges nods, but a lot of Evil Dead comic booky stylized things while still trying to be grounded. But like Nolan just the reason we call it game change is like because he definitely like this was the thing that cemented that style for comic book movies. And I don't, there's just something about the way he tried to make sense of everything, but like we're still bringing in these more, I don't want to say comic booky, but just more fantastical elements with the fear gas making you see weird things and showing that
Hmm.
and adding like a horror element to this movie, not only just because of the fear gas, but the way that Batman operates. Like
Yeah.
he's like Michael Myers. He's like just this shape and everyone's afraid of it. Like
Yeah.
it was a definite, it was a needed shift in how these things were done. And then it spilled forward into, the Casino Royale, and then, how the MCU,
Iron Man.
dialed down like the Raimiisms and went with like Iron Man
Hmm.
and and how that was portrayed. So I mean, you just got to give him all the credit here for maybe he wasn't
He's all
there
right.
first, but he's the one who like I feel like cemented it with that style with this movie and made people look at it in a different light that maybe they necessarily weren't before.
Hugh Jackman said
So
in an interview that no one had told him while they were making the Prestige that, that I think he said, you know, you did what I wanted to do in X-Men. And Jackman was like, what? And he's like, grounded, a little bit like grounded in reality. So I mean, apparently that was his, I don't know, via Jackman. 'Cause Nolan,
yeah,
so maybe Nolan did know while making Following. I'm gonna put this little nugget of Batman, and somebody at Warner Brothers one day will see this and be
one
like,
day.
"Hey, let's catapult Batman back up to the top." And he did. Magic.
And I think it's because it's Batman, because you had Batman and Robin, which we all were afraid had killed Batman movies forever. Batman Forever again.
Yeah.
That I'm not discounting, like someone's angrily typing in the comments like, no, Bryan Singer made movies realistic first. Yes, but I think because Batman, became that template and the largest, in your face IP that was doing that type of movie, then to shift it with Begins, that's where you see like the demarcate, where I'm making that demarcation, because it's,
Yeah.
that same character,
Yeah.
you know.
Because he's Batman.
But anyways, because he's Batman and he's
And
the
that's, in
best,
the
and that's
end,
why we're all
that's
talking
that's
about
the
him for.
answer. That's the answer for all of it, because he's Batman. Argue that. Is he not Batman? Okay,
There you go.
because he's Batman.
Well, Ryan, I can't thank you enough for making the time this morning to be on the show, to come back, talk some Batman. I always enjoy talking Batman with you, be it Batman films or Batman books. So where can people find you to get more of your dulcet voice?
Whoa. Well, first of all, thanks for the invite as always, Javi. Always enjoy talking Batman with you. If you want to hear more of my voice, why would you? Uh, podcast, the Batman Book Club. Usually 3 episodes a month. Pending on when this drops, there might be a new one out in which I have a legendary writer of Batman comics returning to the show to spill the tea on some things DC, and talking about another run of comics that he did. If this drops before then, just go to the feed, check out previous episodes, which last at the time of this recording, the last episode was monthly wrap up with the Italian of BOF, Peter R. Barra, where we talked Batman comics and released in October. Oh, let's see. Before that, author John Jackson Miller of Batman Resurrection and Batman Revolution, he was on the show. Spoiler-free discussion on the new book. Yeah, just check that out, and then check out, as always, batman-on-film.com, where I have reviews up for Batman comics, all 10 issues of The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, and most recently, the latest issue of Batman number 3.
Really, really quickly, what are your overall thoughts of Batman: The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween as a whole, now that it's completed?
Good. There you go. It's good.
Is
Good
it
stuff.
a worthy conclusion, considering that it could never be done by Tim Sale, unfortunately?
I think so. Said, when first of all, gotta have some time, and then I'm gonna reread all of the issues before the hardcover comes out, which initially was scheduled to come out in November, but I think now it's supposed to be coming out
With
at
the
the end of
delay.
January. Yeah, so I think I'll get that and read it again, and that'll be telling of reading it, once or twice at my own leisure, as opposed to spreading it out as long as a year to do. But like, my first gut reaction was like, this closes the book on this little universe in Batman's history. I think it was quality. It will always have you know, the absence of Sale will loom large over the whole story. And that's why I'm good that
Yeah.
this is, if they call it like, this is it of this iteration and all that, this is it, this is done. Because the longer you go on, the further you get away from Tim Sale. And I think that's half the formula, you know? So I'm good that they closed it here. It's an interesting experiment. I was a little, skeptical about a different artist on every issue. In the end, I thought that it was really cool, and I'm glad we got the story, as opposed to saying, "Well, Sale's not doing it, so we're not going to do it." Um,
Yeah.
so in the end, I can't ever answer your question very quickly. So yes, worthy. There we go.
Is it Sherman Howard or Howard Sherman who does Dark Patterns?
I think Hayden Sherman
Hayden Sherman.
does Dark
Okay.
Patterns. Yep,
Teeny Howard, Howard Sherman, Hayden
it's
Sherman.
all connected.
Uh,
Yeah,
it's all
and
connected. I
very
think it's a.
standout art on that is pretty excellent and creative.
I would have liked to have seen him do an issue.
Sure.
You know,
Chris Samney did.
I think.
Nailed it.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, that 2-page spread over Gotham was chef's kiss. But overall, I was pretty happy with it too when I got to the end, and like it felt like the chapter had closed on that story, like the book had closed. One little final question on that: do you consider that whole saga to be canon, or do you look at it as its own universe? Like, The Dark Knight Returns is its own universe.
I find it canon. As much as it, at least Long Halloween, because Long Halloween can fit into, you create a timeline and a story, a history of Batman. I think you can squeeze that in more so than Dark Victory and maybe Last Halloween, because I mean, you and I have mentioned this. I've talked about it before. Falcone's popped up and other stuff that starts to get a little tough to fit into.
Yeah,
Um, but I almost feel like you can go with an opening trilogy to Batman comics, year one, Long Halloween, Dark Victory, and then go from there in whatever direction you want with Batman comics. And those first three will, like, that stands firm as a good starting point.
agreed. And as for myself, obviously you can find me on batman-on-film.com doing Batman Begins chapter by chapter. On the YouTube channel, Bill's got an unboxing I did for the InArt 1/12 scale Dark Knight Rises figure, which if you haven't seen that, I mean, that figure is like an amazing, almost creepily amazing, like 6-inch Batman on your bookshelf, just staring at you all lifelike. And recently he posted an unboxing of the Hot Toys The Flash modern suit Michael Keaton Batman on the YouTube channel. So if you want to check out 1/6 scale Michael Keaton, head over to the YouTube. And for the site, I am reviewing Batman and Robin. Just finished reviewing Batman and Robin Year One, which is an excellent bookshelf-worthy Year One to have. And I think that's it for right now. Just Batman. I'm all Batman and Robin over here. So with that said, thank you for listening, and we will have announcer Rachel take us out.
You have been listening to Batman on Film Chapter by Chapter, a BatmanOnFilm.com podcast revisiting the cinematic adventures of the Dark Knight, scene by scene, chapter by chapter. Follow Jet on Twitter at Batman on Film. For BOF news only, follow at the Batman on Film on Twitter. To become a BOF patron, go to patreon.com/Batman on Film. To advertise on BOF, visit advertisecast.com/Batman on Film. For Jet and Team BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original. Batman on Film. Established in 1998.